Hello every pony and welcome back to another BluePawWolf Productions video. My name is as always visualbrony and today we are reading the story The Symposium by Orbiting Kettle. That is actually a really funny name. Just imagine a kettle orbiting the planet. I mean, what the hell? What is it doing there? What's it doing in an orbit, you know? How did it get there? Anyhow, as always, I will also show you an amazing list of the amazing people who keep supporting this channel and keeping it alive. And now I will also remind you that below this video there is a big button, and if it's still red for you, then you have not yet subscribed to BluePawWolf Productions, which means you will not be notified about our newest releases. Don't you want to be, notified about our newest releases? Pretty please? Please? Anyhow, since I'm pretty sure that I'm annoying you very much right now, let's get into the story. The sound of shattering ceramic caught Shining Armor's attention. He rapidly turned to identify the source of this new disturbance and saw the shards of a vase ricocheting his shield. That was a gift from the Zebrakan Emperor. Shining Armor frowned. There isn't a Zebrakan Empire. Celestia smiled. Not anymore. It was a brutish, unpleasant, and short experiment. She looked at the fragments skidding to a stop on the marmor floor. That vase was 900 years old. It was a unique artifact from that time. I'm pretty sure it was the last of its kind. He stared with horror at the remains of the former priceless object. I'm sorry, Princess. I should have caught it. She chuckled. Well, I hated it anyway. He looked back at the scene unfolding outside his shield. The banner proudly declaring CLIV Symposium of the State of the Equestrian Culture was on fire. The old avant-garde had fortified one of the corners, but were out of projectiles after the Zebrakan vase. It seemed that their faction would soon disintegrate under the pressure of infighting. The Dadaist and the Futurist were already arguing. Maybe. Shining Armor wasn't quite sure. One was doing a strange dance while pouring honey on his head. The other one was spouting a poem. At least, he dearly hoped it was a poem. The idea of organizing an evacuation if his iron lung was malfunctioning again amidst the shifting chaos of the battle sent shudders along his back. Your Highness, are you sure this was a good idea? It is an ancient tradition, my dear Captain. The decennial symposium is the high point of the equestrian cultural discussion, the most important forum of its kind. It helps me to stay current, and it is a powerful occasion for the exchange of new ideas among our most talented scholars. A makeshift catapult collapsed, scattering the existentialists' camp. High-pitched wailing about the absurdity of life echoed briefly before being overwhelmed again by the sound of battle. Princess, I understand the intention underlying this gathering, but maybe it got a bit out of hoof. I mean, the positivists are they about to defenestrate a prisoner? Oh, sweet Celestia. Oh my. She winked to a distraught Shining Armor. I'm flattered, but nor you or I want to unleash the wrath of Cadence, so I must decline. She snickered. But fear not, I won't tell her anything. 3 mares and a stallion were carrying a younger unicorn to one of the windows. The prisoner was struggling, trying to free himself, without much success. Now we will see if gravity is a social construct! That is a decontextualized... The window shattered. Oversimplified straw pony representation of... Shining gaped. They killed him! Princess, we need to stop this madness, Why are you smiling? You worry too much. We have unicorns and Pegasi on catching duty. This year is shaping up as particularly peaceful. The princess was practically glowing with pride as she looked at the howling ponies. Going to get another of the captives. He looked at the pataphysicists carrying around a tightly roped life-sized pony doll to a bonfire they were somehow trying to summon by describing it. Your Highness, I hate to state the obvious, but they tried to kill some pony. And they endured an hour more than last time before doing it. To be honest, I suspect that is why Luna didn't participate this year. She pouted a lot when she discovered that I prohibited the use of weapons and complained that I took all the fun out of it.
Weapons?
It was necessary. Did you know that the crossbow was invented specifically for the Symposium 730 years ago? It should have put to rest a long dispute between arcanists and mechanists.
Shining Armor thought about his military history lesson. Did it solve it?
No, it escalated the situation. We lost the Rose Hall. I still regret my foolish decision to host it there. It was an architectural wonder.
Celestia stared off into the distance for a few moments before sighing.
At least it helped to resolve the standoff with the Griffin warlords. And I learned a valuable lesson about research grant approval.
A charge from the Pragmatists dispersed the last core of Solipists, their attempts to disbelieve their rivals out of existence meeting with bitter failure. It wouldn't last. The victorious ponies were deep in enemy territory. With all due respect, I don't see any rhyme or reason in this. Shining Armor waved his hoof at the chaos in the large room, a hysterical note starting to creep in his voice.
It's the same reason we have 2 space programs.
We have a space program?
We need to employ in some way all the too brilliant for their own good ponies with a penchant for making things that explode. I have a surprising number of subjects with talent in that field.
I see.
We have 2 space programs because 2 of the most intelligent ponies alive can't stand each other. It is frustrating, and considering their talents, it is excessively dangerous having anything less than our reign between them. You have no idea what 2 liquid rocket fuel scientists can do with a well-stocked kitchen.
Shining Armor witnessed supporters of historical inevitably gather, form a spearhead and disgregate in warring factions in the space of minutes. Frustration was elbowing hysteria for the place of most prominent feeling. Please pardon me, but no, I don't understand it.
The ponies here are amongst the smartest of their generation. And for some of them, that comes with an ego to match. This...
An old mare ran past them, directed at grouping of nihilists. They weren't really doing anything, but that didn't seem to discourage the mare from charging, a bit slowly but with admirable determination, screaming,
"Things are against us!" It's a cathartic experience. In the coming 10 years, winners will gloat and try to strengthen their position, while losers will rework their arguments, convincing that their defeat stems from weak premises. All this while no pony will stab any pony else, all of them waiting for the next symposium to let their anger and frustration out.
But the danger! Shining Armor fell silent, noticing for the first time the faint aura around the princess's horn. He looked again at the battle, seeing for the first time the subtle adjustments that guided the ebb and flow. Chairs deviated slightly from their trajectory, missing the skulls that were their original target. Ponies didn't fall as hard as one expected from some pony launched across the room. The fire didn't propagate furiously as it should, strangely content with consuming the remains of the banner and a few curtains instead of turning the academic papers strewn across the floor of the room into a raging inferno.
Princess Celestia smiled. Yes, we will have an interesting decade.
Hello and welcome back to Common Thomas Visual Pony, where I remind you that you can support PonyWolf Productions through the links down in the description below. Every dollar helps, is needed and very much appreciated, and helps to keep the lights on around here and me alive because I need food. Okay, oh my word, guys. Reading this story, my irritation at it right now might be because of the heat, because, oh my word, I'm recording in my car, I don't have the AC on. Actually, I'm going to turn the AC on right now, because I'm fucking melting. But oh my frickin' word. Just a little bit of a piece of advice for any aspiring fanfiction author out there. If you want to have scientific techno-babble or whatever in your story, that is fine. That it really is completely fine. Really, it is. Just my piece of advice is, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. And if you have to invent names for factions or whatever, like the author of this did, don't use too big words, you know? Because that will make it hard for people to read the story. I mean, if I had just read it on my own time, just for myself, without narrating it, that wouldn't have been a problem. But narrating it, was hell. I like the story, I really like it, but it was hell. Not just because of those big words. No. Also because my frickin' tablets that I'm using to record was derping out. No, quite literally, I had to delete a big chunk of this and re-record it because for some reason during, in the middle of the recording, the cursor jumped back all the way to the beginning, so, about 5 minutes of this overlapped. So I had to re-record all of that. I was so pissed. So this might be part of my irritation with this, but my advice here is don't use so many big words because it makes, or things that are really hard to pronounce. Words that people don't use. It kills the flow of your story. Otherwise, dude, orbiting Kettle, great work, just these big words, keeps them out. Sincerely yours, Visual Pony, and as always, I hope that the story finds you well in body and mind.